If you're not driving with a dash cam, you could be making a costly mistake. I'm Brian, Instacart Bulldog. Let's hit it. You notice there was a line missing. More tips for bigger tips and better ratings. This one might cost you some money, but I'm going to show you why right now. You need a dash cam. Now, let's go over this video step by step because a lot of things happened here in a very short period of time. I was heading westbound on Summit Boulevard here in Pensacola, Florida, approaching the intersection with North 12th Avenue. I needed to make a left turn to go southbound on 12th Avenue. I had just gotten into the left lane to take the turn lanes. There's two left turn lanes. I intended to use the right two of those left turn lanes, but then this guy came over one lane of traffic. Okay, fine, no big deal. I'll take the second left turn lane and I'll get back over to where I need to be after I clear the intersection. Well, then this guy immediately came right over to the second turn lane. I blew the horn and then he jammed on the brakes, nearly causing a crash. Then he got out and proceeded to berate me. I exchanged words with him. He said, at this point, F you. And then that was it. I was out. It was time for me to go. Now, if all of that does not convince you, ask yourself this question. What would happen if that was you and you were literally a half-inch closer and you hit that guy? What would have happened? Here's what most likely would have happened. You would have been issued a citation for following too close or careless driving. You would also be penalized by your insurance company for causing an at-fault crash. And if convicted of a traffic violation, you would get points on your license. That all shows up on your driving history so that the next time you apply for another gig app, you might not get that gig after all. And think about what it would cost you just in car repairs alone and your ability to make an insurance claim against the other guy. Without that dash cam footage, if I had hit him, I probably would not be able to make a claim with the insurance company because it would be my word against his. And as you can see, he thought he did nothing wrong. I certainly knew I wasn't doing anything wrong. He's the one that entered my lane of travel. He's the one that reacted poorly when I blew the horn to alert him of his mistake, and it just went downhill from there. Now, what would happen if I didn't have that footage? Now I have to make a claim on my insurance, and if you've seen my previous videos, you know I went through hell to get the commercial insurance policy that I needed to do my gig work here in Florida. There would be a $500 deductible that would apply for my collision or comprehensive coverage, whichever it would apply to. And then I would have that at-fault record on my insurance records for the next 3 years. So what does that mean? The insurance jacks up your rates. So you're going to be paying possibly double. At least you'd be paying 50% more. Depending on the insurance company, sometimes they're a little more forgiving than others, but in my case with a commercial policy, I'm not sure how forgiving they would be. So the $500 to $600 that I spent on having those dash cams installed, professionally installed that is, I probably would have saved myself thousands of dollars. And I wouldn't have to go through too much hassle of arguing who was at fault here because I would have just shown the police officer the footage. So the police officer would just show up and, get his side of the story, because now he's the alleged victim, perhaps, because he's the one that got rear-ended. And in 98% of the cases, insurance companies and police will side with the person who got rear-ended. So the guy would tell him, I had my turn signal on, I entered the lane, I was legal, this guy wasn't paying attention, whatever he was doing, and then he just plowed right into me. Then the officer would turn to me and ask me for my side of the story, to which I would tell him, this guy came across 2 lanes of traffic without any regard who was there. I tried to take evasive action because I thought he was going to go into that lane, so I went into that lane. When I saw him come over, I blew the horn. That's when he jammed on the brakes, causing me to hit him. And now the officer will say, well, now I've got your word against his. I said, well, what did he tell you? Oh, he told me that you just hit him and that he was in the lane already. And then I would be like, oh, so that's what he told you? Here, let me show you my phone. Let me show you the footage right here, right now. As you can see, he came across 2 lanes of traffic. He jammed on his brakes after I blew the horn. Then he got out to yell at me. So we've got traffic law violation of him illegally changing lanes. We got him jamming on the brakes to deliberately cause a crash. I'm sure that's a violation of some traffic law. And then he lied to a police officer. How do you feel about that? Any information that you give on the spot needs to go into a police report. That is your one and only chance, typically, to get your side of the story and get it on the record. Because one of the first things that an insurance company is going to do is ask, was there a police report filed? In every case that you are permitted to get a police report, get one. Because the insurance companies will use that to start making a determination. It also will help your case if you have dash cam footage of the incident. Now keep in mind, dash cam footage can also be used against you, because an insurance company may want to look at the complete picture. What was your driving like approaching that 30 seconds? What was I doing before that? Was I speeding? Was I weaving in and out of traffic? What was my behavior at that point? They're going to want to look at that to try and find some way to deny paying you a claim, because that's what insurance companies do. They make money by not paying out claims. So they will do everything they can to try to deny you. So now I'd like to tell you why I even got a dash cam to begin with. I had just accepted a batch and it was on my way to a local store, and I was like 2 traffic lights away from it. And prior to approaching this particular intersection, there was a guy weaving in and out of traffic, just being a downright jerk, tailgating everybody, zooming around them, slamming on the brakes. You've seen it. You've probably even done it yourself. So he ends up behind me. We end up at the traffic light together. He's behind me. We're not moving. And all of a sudden, I felt a boom. He did not just do that. So I get out of the car. What's going on? And he's like, oh man, sorry, I don't know. I was like, look, let's just pull over here and I'll take a look at things. And he says, well man, I got to get to the doctor's appointment. I'm in a hurry. I said, I'm on my way to work, and you just hit me, so now we got to go take a look at it. And then he proceeded to call me names. All right, so I had to take this inside because it's starting to rain out. It's Florida, it's summertime, so it's just what it is. So then he calls me a piece of shit, says, I'm going to leave, I've got a doctor's appointment to go to, I don't have time for this. So I immediately started taking pictures, took his picture, took a picture of the license plate, called 911, said I've been rear-ended, guy's talking about leaving, he's ready to go. And so they dispatched a police officer. He was there in about 2 minutes. During that time, the guy realized after I called 911 that I wasn't screwing around, that I already had his information, and he might as well just pull over into the parking lot and we'll take a look at it. So he proceeds to get out, mouth off a whole lot more. I'm thinking, great. Okay, whatever, you go ahead and keep mouthing. I said, I ain't saying nothing to you. I'm just going to talk to the police officer when he gets here. Police officer shows up. The guy's still mouthing off. Officer told him to shut up. He asked for all of our information, asked what I wanted to do, if we just wanted to exchange information, or if I wanted to file a police report. I told him I wanted to file a report. He did. The guy ended up with a written warning. The guy denied to the police that he even did anything to me. I got a police report because I knew I was going to need it for the insurance company, because it was dark and I really couldn't see what was going on. And you know how cars are made. You know, it doesn't take much to cause $1,000 or $2,000 worth of damage. So I really didn't know what was there. So I figured, let me just keep all my options open. I get one chance at it. Let me do it right. I filed a claim against him. The insurance company was taking its sweet old time about paying me. So after about 10 days, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Oh, well, the guy hasn't called us back. And I said, so he's not denying it. When are you going to pay me? So they ended up writing me a check. And then I got it fixed. Well, guess what? I got to the body shop, and sure enough, there was more damage underneath it. So they had to pay for that too. Have a good, reputable body shop. Don't let somebody snooker you into going somewhere else because this guy tried to say, oh, I've got a friend, he can buff that right out. Don't ever fall for it, because in every state that I know of, you have a right to get your repair done to pre-crash condition. Exercise that right. So that's why I got the dash cam. So if it ever came down to his word against mine, I've got evidence. Now in that case, I was rear-ended. The law took my side. The insurance company took my side. Even though it was my word against his, I was the one that was rear-ended. That's why I have a rear camera and a front camera. The rear camera, I'd be able to show the police. He denies that he hit me. Here's the footage of him hitting me. He lied to you. You never want to lie to a cop. It usually doesn't end well. So I'll tell you what kind of dash cam I have in case you are interested. I'm not receiving any money for it, so don't think that I'm getting any kickbacks for it. It is a Garmin dash cam mini. I bought mine at Target. They were $99. I think the day I bought it, they were on sale. I have the Target Red card, so you get 5% off of that. Then you do have to buy the parking mode cables. That is the hardwire system into your fuse box. That way, when you're parked anywhere, your driveway, a parking lot, and if somebody hits you, somebody plays around with your vehicle, it's going to start recording automatically. So that way, you know, if there's a hit and run in the parking lot, there's a chance that you'd get enough identifying information to be able to go after that person. So can you see it? You know where it is? I can point it out. It's right there. It's right there. One of the things that I do like about this camera is just how it sits very well behind that mirror. And it doesn't obstruct my view when I'm looking in the mirror. It's not distracting at all. It's got good view of the road. And the one in the back, yeah, right there in the middle. So there it is plugged in there. Yeah, the installer, he put in a little bit of tape because there's just really no good place to run the wiring at that point. And then he joined with this wiring here for the window defroster. Then it runs up all along underneath this thing, and that's where it got expensive because, hey, I wanted it hidden. That's the way I wanted it, so that's the way they did it. And then it comes out down the side because the fuse box is on that side to the left side of the steering wheel, slightly down, and that's where it's plugged in. So as you heard earlier, it cost me about $500 or $600 to get both dash cams professionally installed. You can do it yourself. It does come with long USB cable, so you can just plug it right into your USB connection in your car. You can do it that way if you want to be cheaper. You can also buy any other brand you want. I mean, anything is better than nothing. But I will caution you about this. Be leery of the $40 cameras. Anything under $100, I would be a little leery of. I did try the cheapo ones, and it did not work when I needed it. It was a argument that somebody had in the middle of the street with me because they were blocking traffic. I tooted the horn. She got upset that came out, talked to me because she was stacking up parked cars in the middle of the street, so blocking the city right of way. And then she started yelling at me, and then I was wearing a company shirt at the time, and she says, "I'm going to call your boss." I said, "That's fine, you call my boss. Her name is," and here's her phone number. And by the way, I have this on camera. She will have the footage on her desk first thing in the morning. Well, the phone call never came in, and I never got called to the office, and I didn't have any footage to provide because for some reason that camera did not record everything like it was advertised it would do. So buy a quality name brand camera. So do your research when you buy these things. I hate to be the one to tell you to go spend some money, but think about that. That investment could save you thousands of dollars in liability, in prolonged insurance costs, and also even your gig. There's more gig app opportunities today than there were a year ago, and a lot more than even a few years ago. The opportunity is there for you to make a lot of money. You need to protect yourself. A dash cam can go a very long way to doing that. It can protect your driving record, it can protect your insurance rates, and protect your ability to continue to earn a living. I wanted to tell a funny story though. When after that incident had passed, I immediately called that company to report the driver. So I called the number that was on the van, left a voicemail. I got a call back. Turns out the phone number on that van is not for that company. It's for somebody else. So long story short, the person understood why I was calling. So I had a very pleasant conversation with that person. And here's the funny thing that came out of it. She asked me a few questions, gave me her phone number, and said, "Call me back at such and such a date, and I will talk to you because I could really use somebody like you to drive my vehicles that she operates." I'm like, well, holy cow. It's another opportunity in the gig world. I'm Brian, Instacart Bulldog. Like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss more tips for bigger tips and better ratings. Until next time, go get 'em!